Okay, welcome back guys. So let's carry on from where we left off. So right now, let me I think I'm creating a new layer for this. So I want to work on, I want to kind of detail the arm properly now. So and then I've gone to HD geometry mode. So I'm on HD geometry mode now. So, but let me create a new layer for this first before I carry on. So and pause. So now, once I'm in here now, this is on HD geometry mode, but I've not yet isolated the part where I want to work on use the geometry on yet. So I'll just look for, I want to make this visible. So I'll just go down here and hit A on the keyboard. So down here, just close, just a bit closer to the middle on the lab, say hit A in there. Then I'll go to let's see, solo. So once solo this out now, it has spread out the regions where it has kind of maxed out where, like I kind of excluding out where the AV geometry won't be affecting. I'm showing you the parts whereby the AV geometry will be affecting. And which is exactly what we need for, especially for this hand part. Now the hand parts is visible. So we're going to start by creating some skin pores for the wrinkled part of the elbow. So I'm going to be using let me put this by the side. I'm going to be using let's see, let me go back. I'm going to be using the flip normal skin kit for this. So if there's a particular alpha I can use for that part of I can also use that alpha for the nail and for the elbow. So let me just look for that. Should be this one, yes, this particular one. So I'll just double click on that just to make this appear on the alpha texture slots. Okay. So I have every other layer turned on. So every other layer is turned on. As you can see, I've added veins around this also, just like I told you guys at that time. So basically, using your own body or other reference or not, kind of add veins around the arm. Nothing too complicated. The standard brush works just fine. So I'll modify this now. I'll go to mid value. It should be around 40 to 45 or 45 to 50. That's completely fine. Then the radial weight should be around 10. So I'll drag something out here. Yeah, this should be. I think. Let me see. No. Let me do this again. Let me look for do this from a better angle. Let me do this from around here. Something like so for the elbow. Okay, then something down from down here should be fine. Yeah, I think that looks fine. Okay, let me do that again. Let me try and get this properly here. Something like this should be fine. And I'm on symmetry, so we should be doing this on symmetry mode. You should be on symmetry. Because you don't want to repeat. You can do this off symmetry if you want to, but just to speed things up, I'll be doing this on symmetry. So now for the hand parts, let me look for a reference for this. You can use this as a guide for the reference. So basically, you can use the flip normal skin pack to do the entire thing, but I'll be using a slightly different brush, kind of get the wrinkle parts of the arm. I'm going to be showing you guys the alpha I'm going to be using for this. It's not really an hand, back of hand alpha actually, but I think it will work just fine for it. So I just need to figure out the particular one to use. So, but before that, let me just kind of this knuckle, this end part of the knuckles for the arm. I'm still going to be using that alpha for the elbow, but something lighter. I'm not going to be getting aggressive on this, so I'm using a lower intensity for this. Just to drag something out in there. Let me do this again. Kind of get the direction properly. Something like it should be fine. Do this for this side also. And do in here also. Okay. Then that's fine. I'll do something light in here also. Does not need to be too obvious. Maybe I should probably do that, I guess. Let me do something light on top of that. Okay, just below that rather, like so. Something here also. No, that's too much. Let me do this. Something like, yeah, something like this should be fine. Okay. So now let me look for an alpha that will work. But before that, if you are using just the flip normal kits, skin kit alphas, there are a few alphas you can use in here to kind of get good details for the ant. The only thing is that to be time consuming because you want to be careful with the scale. So if I try the same one also, let me this one, let me this one down here. So if you do something like so, now this should work, but the scale is just too wide, just too broad. So the idea would be to use a smaller, just to drag this with a smaller scale and repeat this multiple times with a lower brush intensity for this. So as you can see, using a lower brush intensity for this, then you just do this multiple times over and across the entire hand just to get this to look right. So that's like the general idea for that. But I think I can use that here. Let me just show you guys an example using that here on the wrist. So I'm not doing this. I'm not going heavy on this. I'm just doing it light. So I'm just doing it lightly on this. I'm just going lightly on this. It's not too aggressive. Just something light in there. Okay. And again, I'm using my own hand as a reference for this. I'm using my own hand as a reference for this. There are other skin alphas you can use, but the idea is to get the direction. Like the direction is the most important thing. Look at your own and then look at the direction of those skin pores. So something like this. Now the direction of the skin pores for the arm supposed to look like this direction, like lines like so. But I need something that has more definition in there. This one just looks like mostly straight lines. Does not really have details in between those straight lines. So I need an alpha that has details in between those straight lines. But this can actually work fine though. Probably you have like a base skin texture just below this, just the same way we did it for the body, the skin pores for the body, whereby we use the surface noise and then we use the tailable noise for that actually. So you can also use that tailable noise also and make the tailable noise go around the arm also. Then you can now use this alpha just to lay out a directionality to the skin pores alpha to the skin pores on the hand. So that's like general idea for that. So let me see. Let me change this to just same. Mid value to 45 to 50 should be fine. Then radial fade will be around 10. That's fine also. So I want to see if I can have some kind of wrinkleness around something around the fingers. Let me see. Just checking this if this will work. But I'm sure you guys get the idea. I'm just going to kind of show you guys how to use this in case you don't have other maps to use. But the map I'm actually going to be using is going to do a more precise job for me at a faster pace. But you can always use this also. This will still work. As you can see, I'm showing you guys how to use this. So you just go with smaller wrinkles, smaller dragging of the alpha around this until you capture the landscape of the hand or the fingers, wherever you want to actually place this. But me, I'm going to be using a different alpha. I'm going to be using the texture in XYZ 175 alpha for this, 175 phase alphas for this. So let me kind of play around and kind of figure out which one will work best. This one is cool, but the direction is not what I actually want. The direction is more like a wave pattern, so that's more zigzag. I don't want that. So I want something that's like that kind of straight line direction, but details in between those straight line direction. So I'm kind of trying something now. So I'm using the male face 40 now for this. Kind of trying this out first to see how it is. Yeah, this one looks cool. The direction is actually there, but there's like a red line in the center of this that kind of breaks the surface too much. So I don't want that. I want something that is mostly neutral all around. Let me try another face alpha. Let me use this. Let me try this one down here. This 20 is face alpha. Let me look for a good number for this. Maybe let me try number 5. Let me see what number 5 will give me. Yeah, this feels good, but it feels too aggressive. And the direction is just too, it's actually good, but it feels too noisy. Feels too noisy. So let me go back. So I've figured out what a particular one to use. So I'm using the female face 30. This to be the female face 30. So female face 30 for this. Okay. So now I can use this for this now. So this actually works better for me with an intensity of 19. So if I should drag this out now, this one has a more neutral direction to it, directionality to it. As you can see the direction of that. This particular alpha is actually for the forehead. It's like the yes, for the forehead. So and this one has a very good direction to it. So that's fine. But I'm going to now adjust modify the alpha for this just to get this to work correctly without creating lumps on the surface. So let's see, same, mid value to around 45, radial fade to 10. Okay, then I can start dragging this out now with a better direction to it. I'm kind of using a scale that should work correctly. And this is an older male, so and yeah, this guy is actually fat. So fat people tend to have their skin pores stretched out, like the skin pores becomes wider to like it becomes wider. Unlike thin, slimmer people, that the skin pores are more tiny because the skin is not stretching out. Unlike that of the fat people, that their skins are kind of fat and then stretched out, so that kind of stretches out the skin pores in there. So that idea will actually work for this also. So I want to have that stretched out skin pore detail around this, but not too much to make this feel a bit weird. So I'm going to be really careful with this. While dragging this out, I'm still going to be conscious of the stretchiness of the skin pore. So something around here should be fine. Let's see. Somewhere around here should be fine. I think I can work with this. Maybe something lighter. Maybe not something not too broad should be fine. Yeah, I think I'm liking this. This will work just fine. This will work just fine. So I don't do something also for the other side. Kind of follow that directionality to it. Basically following the direction so it doesn't feel off. So for this part also, you don't really have to go crazy all over this. Just something that should kind of blend in properly with the other parts of the yarn should be just fine. Because even when you add subsurface SSS to it, to a surface scattering to this, it kind of softens out all those skin pores detail you have around your model. So the idea is just based on personal preference. Actually, it depends on how you actually want this to be. And also you have this on different layers so that you can kind of iterate back and forth to figure out something that works best for you. So I'll just continue doing this. So yes, also I made a mistake in here, so I'm going to show you guys a mistake I made so you guys can actually avoid that later on, because though the mistake can still be in my favor later on, but I will still go to explain the mistake I made so you guys can know how to avoid that. And since you have this in a new layer already, so that's completely fine. You can just delete that layer and then we do this. It's completely fine. But I'm going to show you guys the mistake I made actually. I'm going to show you guys. So I'm just basically drawing out smaller alpha around the fingers. It won't be too aggressive though, just smaller alphas around this, just to break up that surface. It doesn't feel too, so it doesn't, so the surface doesn't feel too smooth. I'm still using the same alpha with the same directionality to it. Just the same alpha with the same directionality to it. Nothing too fancy or complicated or completely off from what we're already using. And since we're working on 8D geometry mode, so the what's it called? The details on our model, the high poly count we have on our model is actually making the alpha more obvious to see, because the alpha has a lot of frequency details in there. So with a higher subdivision level, with the help of the 8D geometry, you can actually see how that frequency detail is actually affecting our model quite nicely. So you can see now this is the mistake part. So I'm supposed to use back face maxing for this, because you can see now the alpha I'm dragging out at the back side is actually affecting inward, is actually affecting the palms. And I don't want that, so I'm kind of smoothing this out. Though you see at this particular thing, is actually adding extra texture details on the inner parts, on the palm of the arm, which is kind of cool. Which is kind of cool. But if you don't sorry. But if you don't want that, there are ways you can actually fix that. But I'm still going to be using the same alpha with the lower intensity for the palm. So I'm just dragging out the same alpha, but with a lower intensity for the palm. Just with a lower intensity. So nothing too crazy. Let me increase this a bit more. So the same alpha, because that's a good direction to it. So I'm just using, though you can go on and look for fingerprint alpha and then just use fingerprint alpha. Kind of drag around this. That will work. That will even work even better. Just make it have that fingerprint around this. But since this part of the arm is not going to be too visible, so I can just block out something rough in there, but using the same directional alpha on top of this. Okay. And if this is not looking right, I can always remove that layer and then redo all of this, because like how long did it take me to just do this now? I was 10-15 minutes. I can just redo that. Okay. Yeah, this looks actually good from a distance. Let me just fill this up here. That part feels a bit empty. The part feels a bit empty. So let me just fill that up. Yeah, looking good. This looks actually good. I can actually work with this. The only thing that's just remaining now is just a bit more refinement on top of all of this, just to block out some. Like for the finger, I think I can actually leave this like this if I want to, but if one needs to feel more realistic, you can always go and refine this a bit more. You're always free to kind of refine this even more if you want to. You basically have unlimited freedom on top of this. So let me smooth this out just a bit. Okay, because once you add color on this, that color detail is going to be overshadowing most of this skin pore detail we have on top of this. So to be honest, you kind of zoom in and then you need to see, okay, oh, there's actually skin pore detail on top of this, but it's just this subtle layer upon layers of detail that you add on top of this that makes your model actually shine out. There are more precise way of doing this by using, yeah, let me show you guys now. So if you want to kind of avoid having your alpha affect the backside, all you have to do is to kind of turn off backside maxing. So once you turn on backside maxing, so anytime you draw out an alpha, it won't affect the backside of it. So that's basically how to. Let me just show you guys again. Let me drag up. So basically just turn on backface maxing. That's basically it. So that's the way to avoid having your maxing, your dragging out of your alpha affecting the backside, depending on how where you're joining from. If you're dragging out the alpha from the front, then then turning on backface maxing, that means it won't affect the backside of the arm. I'm sure you guys get the idea already. You guys are really smart. I'm sure you guys get the idea already. So I can basically go use my Dem standard brush to kind of accentuate most of all the details we have in here, as if I want to. So I'm just smoothing all of this back down. But this adds an extra layer of texture detail to this though, which is actually cool. That is when we texture them using leaving those texture on top of this. It actually gives it a more interesting look to it. But so far, so good. This is kind of coming out quite nicely. The last part we need to kind of add more details, skin pore details to will be the edge. That will be the edge. So I can either use the one that's from the 5 skin alpha for that, or I can just use the flip normal skin alpha to kind of do this also, to do that also. But it still depends on what you want to, on the particular one you want to use. The main point is to follow the direction of it. Like the main point is the direction of the skin pores. You shouldn't just be dragging out skin pores all over the place without knowing the directionality to it, because skin pores on the skin looks as a direction to it. So keeping in mind that direction to it to give you a clear idea of the particular alpha, skin alpha to use and where to use them, and the particular direction it should be flowing to. Very important, like very important. So right now I'm just kind of refining the general shape and the direction of the wrinkle details on the palm. Just kind of refining that, adding that in even more. Okay, I can even call it done. I can call this done because I've done the major parts of adding the skin pores detail for the hand, which is what you guys actually want to see. So I've shown you guys how to do that already. The other thing that you might need to do is just completely up to you. It's up to your creativity, honestly. It's up to your creativity. So I'm out of geometry, age geometry mode now. I'm just gonna visualizing this now off the age geometry mode. Let me just see how it is. It's actually looks good. It actually came out quite nicely. Kind of like how this came out, which is quite cool. So I've turned off solo mode just to see how the finger is affecting this now. Just on top of this, which is actually cool. It's not bad. I think for a game render, this should come out quite nicely. But don't take my word for it. I'm not really professional, but I believe this looks good. This looks good enough for me. This actually looks good enough for me. I can work with this. So let me just keep refining some of the fingernails. Just keep refining some of the fingernails just to make this look even better. I can see some intrusion of the fingernails in the snail. I'm just pushing that out and just refining this even more. So yeah, I think I'm done with this. I think I'm actually done with this. I can actually leave this the way it is. I can actually leave this the way it is. So this is just me refining parts of the model of the fingernail that are not coming out quite nicely. I'm just pushing this. I want to kind of see the thickness around this because this is a fingernail, it should be thick around that part. So I'll see you guys in the next lesson. We'll work on adding skin pores detail for the edge. So bye for now.